Greetings, citizens of Gensokyo. We are here today with another episode of the Friendgame podcast. No, not another incident. I am your host today, Alex. The man laughing next to me with this purple box is the OG himself.
My purple box. What?
Yeah, you got a purple box, dude.
I do?
Yeah. I'm a blue box and you're a purple box.
Oh, you're talking about the avatars. I'm like, what kind of... Like, is this a reference to something? I'm just like totally missing this. I see. You're just being dumb.
Wow.
I get it.
All right. Question: why is Cyrano the strongest?
Because of her, the bow in her hair is made of, kryptonite.
Wrong. She's the strongest because she's the strongest.
You got me.
All right. What a way to start out the episode. Anywho, hello everyone. We are here once again with a episode of the Friendgame podcast. As you are seeing this, we are in the midst of moving into our new place. So, little foresight here of, recording ahead of time and being a smart person so that we don't actually have to record while we're trying to set things up.
Some time shifted magic going on right now.
Ooh. You can't see me right now, but I'm doing the wavy thing with my hands.
Right, yeah, I could assume.
But today's episode is just going to be kind of a random mishmash of small topics that, we're just going to have a casual chat today. Because sometimes our podcast kind of needs some of that.
Yeah, it's a handful of things where we're like, oh, this would be cool to talk about, but it's maybe not enough to do an entire episode on, so we're kind of just going to throw a bunch of stuff together here since we're doing this ahead of time just to have something out for when we're moving. So.
Yeah, and then,
then we'll get back to your regularly scheduled bullshit when we get our stuff together.
Yeah. But, so, we got some topics.
Yeah. Pick from the list.
So, it has to... So, last episode, you'll notice a tradition hasn't happened. So now we have to kick it off with that tradition happening. Ian, please inform us with the new magic stuff.
Oh, bet. Well, there's... I guess, yeah. Yeah, you're right. The tradition of me talking about magic stuff I didn't do last episode. Wow.
Yeah.
I was too busy word vomiting for an hour. Okay, so yeah, as far as magic goes, since we last talked, I don't even remember what was the last. I don't remember when I last talked about magic. So how much new there's been since then?
I think last time you talked about magic,
it was Strixhaven, right?
Yeah, I believe it was Strixhaven.
Okay, so I guess since then there's been, I guess, only one standard legal set that's come out because there was some Modern Horizons stuff in the middle there. But the most recent standard set is pretty cool. It's the D&D Dungeons and Dragons crossover Magic the Gathering set, which has been pretty cool. Because if you don't know, Wizards of the Coast owns Magic the Gathering and Dungeons and Dragons, so like probably actually kind of a shock that this hasn't happened already. But
yep,
here we are now. And it's actually been super, super cool. If you're a big Dungeons and Dragons fan, there's a bunch of characters in that universe in like modules and stuff that so there's a lot of like famous characters. So it's cool to see a lot of those famous like heroes and villains as magic cards now.
Yeah.
And what's cool about it is the more you know about D&D or Magic, the more there's a lot of flavor in the cards. So it's just cool to see I don't know. It's hard to give an example, but there's subtle nods to D&D in the cards and how the mechanics of each of the cards work, which is just cool to see. Along with that, though, there's been this kind of uh, rise of this new format that people are playing now.
Oh snap!
Um, it's it's a take on what people refer to as block standard in air quotes, where standard is like the most recent. It's the most recent like 2 years of cards ish. And it like rotates pretty frequently, so there's always a constant flow of new cards and cards rotating out and stuff.
Right.
Block standard, and they're referring to this new format as standard 2022, just because it's gonna roll into the new year, and it's only the last 4 sets of cards. So it's the newest one, which is called the D&D set, Adventures in the Forgotten Realms, Strixhaven, Call Time, Zendikar. That's it. That might not mean anything to you, but why people are enjoying it so much is not because of like what's in it, but what's out of it now, which
Yeah.
is kind of interesting. So a lot of things that were plaguing standard were things from Ikoria, which were the set with the companions in it.
Oh yeah.
So a lot of the companion decks were like really good and also kind of annoying. And then also Throne of Eldraine is like one of the highest powered sets like in recent memory,
Yeah. That
with
came
all the
out.
with all the adventure cards and a lot of just like really powerful like
Yeah.
if you hear people complain about past standard, you hear them complain about 3 things really, or actually 4: companions, Bone Crusher Giant, Embercleave, um Shark Typhoon. And 3 of the 4 of those things are in Throne of Eldraine. So but like to boil it down to like why this like standard 2022 is an awesome format and better than standard has been recently is I guess I'll say Magic is at its most fun when like playing to the board is good.
Yeah.
So it's like a lot of the good decks are like creature decks that care about like attacking and blocking,
Right.
which a lot of decks in the past haven't done.
Right.
So like a lot of the good decks have been like Jeskai Control, and there was a deck going around that it was literally called Creatureless Control, because you had one creature and that was your companion, and then that's it. There was no other creatures in the deck. So it was really hard to try and like do anything against that kind of deck, because literally all it was just board wipes and removal.
Right.
And it was hard to win against because they never had to commit anything, because they would just like draw and pass and then just counter all your stuff.
Mm.
So in a creature based play to the board style format, it's just way more fun because there's just way more game actions that you can take. Like you can just do more stuff. So
it just draws more interaction, right? I mean,
it's just,
that's
yeah,
what
it's
it ends
just
up becoming.
attacking and blocking and playing big creatures is what makes Magic fun, in my opinion. So a lot of the cool stuff in the new set is like there's a bunch of dragons because it's Dungeons and Dragons, obviously, and there's a bunch of there's a new mechanic called Venture into the Dungeon, where it like wants to put like dungeon crawling in as a mechanic.
Yeah.
And people were kind of like, man, it's kind of whatever. The effects aren't really that good, but there's actually a couple of decks that do venture into dungeons, and they're really good. And it's cool because a lot of the effects that like allow you to venture into the dungeon and get those effects are on creatures, so it just makes you play creature decks. So it's just feeding into that thing where like playing to the board is just like more fun and more engaging.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. What that all like says to me is that they want the game to be more interactive than what it is right now, because one of the problems with people trying to get into modern and some of the other formats is that like there are times where it's just not interactive at all. Like you're just not allowed to do anything, or like you're not trying to worry about what your opponent's doing. You just do what you do, and you win in 3 turns, or you just like lose.
Yeah.
So.
And that's not what it is now. Like attacking and blocking and playing to the board, and interesting things like that are more frequent, so it's better.
Yeah.
I've been seeing a lot of people say like, and this is the sentiment that I live by too, is like the most recent set, the D&D set, is lower powered,
Mm-hmm.
but not low power.
Right.
Meaning like the cards aren't busted, but like they're still fun and do cool things. They're just not like I'm gonna play a 3/3 with upside for 2 and then just like win the game because
Yeah.
I just have value. Like
Yeah. That leads me to my next question, though, or to like the next topic at hand, because I think it's a good transition now that we're talking about.
I was just gonna say one more thing I want to say is since we're commander players, this set is awesome for commander because there's a bunch of just like awesome legendary creatures that have unique effects because it's D&D inspired. So
Yeah, Ian's already
it's
brewing like 5 different
oh
decks.
yeah, I'm literally just brewing 5 different decks. That like I could brew 5 decks from this set that are all the same colors, and they would all be unique decks too.
Yeah.
Like it'd be wild.
Yeah.
So yeah, this set is amazing for commander, and just because there's a like I don't know, like Tiamat, the legendary dragon that everyone's heard of
Yep.
from Dungeons and Dragons is in the set now. Um, there's a bunch of monocolored dragons that are all legendary and have cool effects. There's a Cthulhu type creature. There's a mind slaver creature. Like you could do a bunch of cool stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah. I'll be done now. I'm sorry.
Well, that just brings me to my next like point of like you've been playing a lot of Legends of Runeterra lately.
I have.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
how's that been going? Because was it? I played that for a little bit, but just like really couldn't get into it personally. But
Yeah, it is a card game. So I started playing it, like picking it up again recently because playing Magic on Arena is predatory and I don't want to engage with it. Like, yeah, it's Magic the Gathering is the original loot box, but like they're just like adding on to it's hard to get stuff in that game in ways that I won't talk about. So Legends of Runeterra is basically the next best thing where like it's still a card game with like good interactions and stuff, and a lot of the good decks are like they're like my style of Magic, if that makes sense. Like I like playing to the board, and I like dealing with like my creatures, and like I never like to play true control decks where I just like untap, draw, pass. Like if I'm gonna play a control deck, I at least play like tap out control, like Grixis or something bad. you know. But yeah, so I like the one gripe that I have with Legends of Runeterra is like the cards are cool, and the cool thing about the game is that a lot of the cards like are really synergistic, and there's a lot of cool things you can do, and like there's a bunch of awesome interactions and combos you can do with your own deck. A lot of the decks are then combo decks, but then the ranked format is a best of one format.
Yeah.
So that's where I would like welcome some sort of sideboard system that Magic has.
Right.
Because it's basically like if you're playing a combo deck, if you get your combo before your opponent, you win because they can't really do anything about it.
Yeah, they can't interact with it in any way.
And then so like fine, that does happen in Magic, but in Magic you have a game 2 and 3. We're like, oh okay, I know what they're doing now. I know what their combo is. I can board out this stuff and board in this stuff and have a better game plan. But in Legends of Runeterra, you just like they combo and you lose and you go on to the next match. So that's like a gripe that I would have. It's like if you were to play best of one modern, which doesn't sound fun to me. Like they just like they neo brand you and then you're like, all right, good game, you lose. Sorry, like you can't do anything about it. So
amulet tying you.
Yeah.
Perfect hand draw early, and you're just like,
exactly.
I just lose.
Yeah, they fetch, shock, cabal coffers, play Thassos, and then win. Like, or like they dark ritual you, and you're like, well, yeah, it resolves, can't do anything about it. And then they like, all right, I win, and then you scoop and leave the venue instead of getting to play some more.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I've been playing that a lot. It is fun. It's the League of Legends universe, and we play League of Legends, so it's just like fun to get to interact with those characters in a different way, kind of.
Right.
So. Something interesting that I heard some rumors about is soon, I don't know exactly when, there's going to be the first ever straight to Runeterra champion. As they're going to be a champion, like a champion card type that isn't in League. They're just in Legends of Runeterra and that's it.
Oh, interesting.
And then like obviously they would probably eventually put them in the League. but that's good because even like the most recent champion in League, Akshan, was still a champion in League, and now is also in Runeterra. So
Right.
like he might have been released in both games simultaneously, but
Right.
there has never been a Runeterra only champion.
Yeah.
Which if that becomes a thing, that would be cool to see. So
Oh, was it you know, Runeterra is technically still newer than League, so it'd be interesting for them to do something like that. Considering
yeah,
League.
because even like the other card game like Runeterra that's out there is Hearthstone, which is the World of Warcraft
Yeah.
inspired card game, and they did that where there's characters that are unique to Hearthstone
Uh
that
huh.
aren't in World of Warcraft.
Ah.
So interesting to see if the rumors that I have heard are true and what comes of that. But,
Yeah.
but yeah, if I could play Magic without having to spend like be a large sea creature and spend a lot of money on it, then I would still. But
uh, me too, man. Me too. I'm
we'll
not a
we'll
fan
settle for
of.
some we'll settle for some Commander though. We'll get some Commander decks brewing in a month or two here, I think.
Yeah, dude. I don't like being a large sea creature and spending lots of money. Although I do have a weird obsession with, with gacha games.
Yeah, you're weird.
What? Gacha games are fun. They can
Yeah,
be fun.
I guess. Because the Genshin Gacha game got some new shit recently. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Was Genshin? Genshin finally got its 2.0 update, which brought
Exciting.
Inazuma.
Exciting.
I don't think we got a chance to talk about it because we're talking about other stuff, but Inazuma, really cool, Japanese inspired. Was it islands, and you get to see it like there's like 3 different islands that kind of, but each of the islands also has like different subsections of the islands that have like different themes around them. So like one of them is kind of like the misty forest, and like another one is like got a bunch of cherry blossom trees, and you see the cherry blossoms blowing everywhere. There's one that is just like pouring rain and thunderstorming the entire time, and you can get hit with thunder.
Really?
Yeah, like thunder will just like randomly strike you.
It's on my Breath of the Wild shit there.
Yeah, yeah. There's actually like certain sections where there's a tree that's been infected with something in the universe where like it's been infected with like lightning essentially, and what it does is that anytime that you're nearby it, the lightning will just strike you. So it is like Breath of the Wild where like you become a conductor, because you'll just see like the light slowly like around your character envelop, and then you just hear the bolt hit you.
That's on that Minecraft shit.
Yeah. That's actually a funny side story too, where I was watching a was it like a role play like session happen in a Minecraft world, and the guy, like the person that was the person was like supposed to be like getting kind of emotional for like the thing that was happening, and then all of a sudden lightning strikes him and kills him, and he just bursts out laughing because that was not in the script at all.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
But yeah, we finally got Inazuma. It's not a myth anymore, people. Was it Ayaka does in fact exist, and a lot of people now have new waifus because of the characters that they've announced next. I'm sure you've seen them around, yeah.
I've seen. Well, I was watching you stream whenever that was,
Yeah.
and so that new character is the one that you were like interacting with, which was who was that?
Ayaka, the blue-haired one?
Okay, yeah, and then
Yeah.
there's the other one, like the red-haired.
Yoimiya. She's like
Okay,
the
yeah.
blonde hair, the blonde one.
So those are the ones that I've seen.
Yeah, those are the 2 that are coming or that are out in this patch. Next patch, they've already kind of announced the next characters for next patch, which are the other characters that show up in the story. So the Raiden Shogun, I don't remember what her name. Saju or something like that. And then the Kokomi, which was like the water general of the rebellion, that we saw at the end of the story. But everyone, and I repeat, is either everyone that I've seen or that I've talked to in like our Discord chat, in the Discord that we're part of, is either saving for the Raiden Shogun or the water general. Those two, like it's a battle right now on like who's more popular right now.
Okay.
But
I don't know either of those, so I'll have to wait and see.
one is purple and one is blue. That's like the shorthand answer that I can give.
Okay.
But yeah, so far it's been super fun to like have that fresh experience of exploring something again.
That is a big part of that game. I feel like
Yeah.
is the exploring part. So
Yeah.
it's good that people get to do that again now.
Yeah, it's just been fun to like run around and explore and do all these side quests. Cause like, recently, I did a side quest where like you had to go and cleanse these shrines from infection, from like essentially like a malevolent kind of force, and at the end of that was actually a secret boss fight that like I was not prepared for, which is actually really cool.
That is cool, yeah.
Uh,
I love it when game developers put secret shit in the game because like not a lot of people do it because it makes sense that you would want to put stuff in the game that you know your players are going to interact with.
Yeah.
But putting stuff in the game that you know a very small amount of people are going to interact with is just like a big dick move that I love when developers do that.
Yeah. So.
Which is why FromSoft is such a good game developer, because there's so much hidden shit in that game where like they know 10% of the population that people that play that game are going to find it, but that 10% of people are going to love it when they do.
Remember the Demon Souls door?
Yeah, that shit. I was there live in the stream of the guy that like did it for the first time, and I've never played that game before. But it's also the guy who found it was a soul speedrunner that I watch a lot of, anyways. So, but yeah, that kind of shit.
Yeah. But yeah, no, Genshin has been a lot of fun. Like I've actually really enjoyed playing the game again, and I want to just set time aside to go and explore more of the world, because I've technically only explored like 25% of the new area.
Oh, okay.
So there's a lot.
So there's a lot to do. That's good too.
There's actually a lot to do, and there's a lot to explore. They've had like new mechanics to the area too that are specific to the area. So there's a bunch of hidden stuff just like waiting to be found.
That's good.
Other gacha game.
Yeah, you picked up what? You picked up a third gacha game.
As I've said before. Well, so like I have been kind of keeping up with Honkai Impact, but I'm not sure if I'm not too sure if I'm interested enough to continue right now.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Just because like I really haven't been playing the story. Like I really haven't been playing the story. It's really just been logging in and doing kind of like the daily stuff. So I might drop that and pick up playing more RuneScape, because I've been doing that lately. But I've also
some RuneScape.
But I've also been playing Toho's new gacha game, and I finished.
What, new Lost World?
Yeah, Lost Word.
Lost Word.
Yeah. The story for that is, in the Toho-verse, there is essentially anything wrong that's happening in what they call Gensokyo, is the world, is ends up turning into an incident, and then the characters go and resolve what the incidents are by shooting bullets at each other.
As they do,
because it is actually a part of the rule in that world, in that verse, that they have put into law, that the way that they settle things is through the spell card rule, which is you shoot bullets at each other and battle it out.
That's some no game no life bullshit.
Yeah. Kind of like that, where you know, in No Game No Life, you're solving your problems by playing a game. So, uh, in that world, you essentially play as a character that has been dropped into the world and have lost your memory. And they go around in the prologue showing you like all the kind of main characters that have showed up in the main story, the main series line that are very important. And then they turn it on its head, and now you start dimension traveling to like these other dimensions of the same world, but there's like some weird thing going on where a word is lost. Like people have forgotten about like a certain word or name, or like the word can be anything. So it could be a word or a name, it could be a place, and your character and the other characters that have dimension traveled with you now have to figure out what this lost word is to resolve the incident, because if you don't, that dimension essentially just like cease to exist because it starts collapsing on itself.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So like
that sounds like an anime plot, so
yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. and it works for a gacha game because it just gives you an excuse to like go and meet all the other characters and stuff.
Right. Yeah.
And get the characters. But it's been a lot of fun. Just like because I wanted to learn about the universe, and I was like, well, I may as well just like pick up the gacha game because that'll give me a good introduction to most of the characters. System runs pretty similarly to Azure Lane if you've played that. So like the pulling system and all of the other kind of like small intricacies kind of work the same way. The battles work differently though, and the fact that I can full send AFK battles is great.
The best part about playing the game is when you don't have to.
That's the part of playing a gacha game, if I'm honest. Like gacha games are kind of you log in, you play for a little bit, and then you get off because you're done doing your daily stuff. Or you can just AFK farm stuff. I mean, remember when Jose and I played Brave Frontier? God, I remember.
I played a little bit of that game.
I played a lot of that game.
But yeah,
it showed up again in my Facebook feed, and I'm like, oh god, I played this game.
God, dude, why does Facebook exist, man?
My brother told me that he started playing Raid Shadow Legends again, and I'm like, why?
Oh my god, dude. I don't know anyone that actually plays that game.
He was also telling me about there's a Nier, like the Nier universe.
I have been seeing stuff about that. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a gacha game for that now, so he was telling me that he was playing that too.
That's a universe I gotta invest myself into more, because I've played like 1.5 playthroughs of the first game, and it's fun. But
yeah, there's like a bunch of endings to that game too, isn't there?
Yeah, well, yeah, each playthrough, or like I don't actually even know. So the first playthrough you play as 2B, obviously.
Yeah.
And then you don't play as her for like the other playthroughs.
Oh.
But it's still the same story. It's just like from a different perspective. It's super interesting.
Okay.
It's because like a lot of like, because I played the first playthrough, and I played the first like couple of missions of the second playthrough, and like it's the same events, the same exact things are happening, but you're not playing 2B.
Right, you're playing as like one of the other characters.
Yeah, but I don't know if that's the case for all of it, because I think there's like 5 total playthroughs that you do to get like everything.
Okay.
And then there's also a new game now, so
yeah. And
that
has its own story.
It's its own thing, yeah.
So.
But the story in that world and the story is just like so interesting. It's like, like it's hard to explain, like this idea that I have that like it's anime, so therefore it can be like this weird, just like the stories in anime are just weird, right?
Yeah.
Like, and it wouldn't be good. Like very few other like forms of media can get away with that kind of stuff, and this feels like that, where it's just like a super weird idea.
Yeah.
but like it's just like so cool too.
Mm.
So I don't know. I'm gonna do that eventually, but like I'm in this weird mode where I like can't play single player games right now.
It's all right. Once we move, I mean, you know, we're gonna
Maybe.
start. We're
Yeah.
gonna start watching anime, right?
Uh,
Again,
Sure.
actually
Sure.
watching anime again. You're fine.
Sure.
The
I don't know if I'll
recently.
stay up. I don't know if I'll stay up to date with like seasonal shit,
Oh no
but
no 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 no. Like I recently watched One Punch. Like
oh yeah, you were telling me about that.
yeah, it's actually really funny. Because I had been putting it off for a long time, but
Hmm.
it's actually like a good show. It's really funny. Essentially, you take like, because shonen anime is all about like the main characters like gets really strong or is really strong, and it's almost like a joke of a show about shonen anime, about like the character just being absurdly powerful,
Hmm.
because he is just like really strong. And usually like in shonen anime, like the character has like some sort of trait about them that makes them really strong, but he's just strong because he worked out every day.
The guy in One
Yeah,
Punch.
like that's it.
It's not like he's like demigod or has special powers.
Yeah.
It's like no, he did sit-ups.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So we'll have to figure out some anime to watch. Maybe we can rewatch some stuff.
Making me nervous.
No, we'll be fine. We should probably rewatch Future Diary if I'm honest.
Yo, yeah.
Our buddy Rob talks about that a lot. How much he enjoyed that.
That's a good show.
It is a good
Yeah.
show though. It's been a while since I've seen it.
Yeah, I like seriously, unless it's like I don't even know. Like I think Evangelion is like the only show I've ever rewatched.
Really?
Yeah, like everything else, I'm just like, yeah, that was good, and then I fucking never interact with it ever again. Or like even Attack on Titan, I've seen the first season of, so like I'll probably watch that all. So
We'll watch K-On!
I started that show
Did you?
because I was in the mood. Yeah, I watched like the first couple of episodes, like 2 or
Really?
3. Yeah.
That's kind of surprising, actually. That's a good show.
I
though.
mean, I was in the mood to watch cute stuff
girls,
happen.
Cute girls doing cute things. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the short gist of what that show is. But like it's genuinely actually a good show. Was it the way that one of the content like Anitubers that I watched put it was that like he was a part of a band in high school too, and it kind of like told it kind of reminded him of like, yeah, that's shit that we did back in the day.
Yeah, actually, like real life problems that they would have had. Yeah.
Where it's not even like you had problems; it's just you ignored actually doing the thing and you were just hanging out. You know?
Oh yeah, like you were in band club, but you was really just an excuse to chill with your buds.
Yeah, yeah. And that's what happens in the show a lot, is that they'll be like, all right, we gotta actually practice.
And then they didn't
and
practice.
then they didn't practice. You know, it's like back in track where you're like,
Yo.
we gotta practice, and then you go and do starts for about 5 minutes and then never do anything again.
Coach is like, all right, we got 10 200s today. Do it at your own pace, and you did like 3.
Everyone always complained when we actually had to run out and go and do something.
Yeah.
Running to
and like you and I fucking like probably like did more work than everybody else. At least like my junior year, your senior year.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we still ticked off so much.
Oh
like,
yeah. Oh yeah.
God, yeah, that reminds me of good times. That was fun.
Yeah. If you have any ideas for, or if you have any anime that we should watch, you know, put it in the comments.
Yeah, I should start a list.
We'll start a list. We'll start a list of things that we'll start watching, since we'll be living together.
Yeah, and then it'll just be easy to just like got 40 minutes before I'm gonna go to bed. and, like just watch an episode or two.
Yeah. I mean, so we're talking about like hobbies that we don't currently do now,
Yeah.
but you've put on here that you might start casting again.
Yeah, I it's actually really funny how this recently played out. So I don't even remember. I'm actually gonna go on Reddit right now and try to find my original thing here. Um uh whoops, that's not what I wanted. So yeah, so 10 months ago, I found it. 10 months ago, I've always been like pretty good at like memorizing shit. So like when we're like playing League of Legends for our Clash team and stuff, I like just like know a lot of League of Legends abilities, just like for no reason. So like a couple of our teammates are like, "Dang, Ian, you know all this stuff, like all these ability names. You should try like casting because you need to know all that stuff to do that, right?" And I'm like, "I don't know, maybe." So then I posted on Reddit randomly in like the League of Legends subreddit, just like how to become like a caster or broadcast personality or whatever. And if you know about the guy, a former EU caster, his name is Ender. He doesn't cast for them anymore. He does some other stuff though. But he actually commented on my Reddit post and said, "Do what I did to get my career. Just search caster here on the subreddit, and you'll probably find leagues looking for casters." Like a literal professional caster
Wow.
commented on my thing and said, "Hey, do this. This is what I did."
Wow, that's awesome.
Um, so then I did that. I just like searched on Reddit. I found a couple of leagues that were looking for amateur casters and stuff, and got in touch with some people. And then I did a couple of casts
Yeah. I
for some
remember
amateur leagues, and it was really fun. The thing that I didn't realize that I was getting myself into is that like you would imagine, it's just like a bunch of gamers running
Yeah.
these amateur leagues. So they're not the most organized things in the world.
Right.
And a lot of it was like, "Oh, hey, there's games tonight. Who can cast?" And there was like no schedule posted at all. So it was a lot of like, "I want to cast, but I don't want to like get bothered to do it an hour before it happens," kind of
Right.
thing.
Right. You wanted like
So
kind of want a schedule.
yeah, so then I can like plan for it, and like I'm the kind of person who would like for that kind of thing, I would like read the patch notes and make sure that I watched the pro play that happened that week if there was any, just so I could like not sound like an idiot.
Right.
And, like they didn't give me the opportunity to do that because I never like there wasn't anything posted that I could sign up for, and then when there was something, it was last minute.
Right.
So for that reason, I stopped doing it for a while
Uh-huh.
until like a week ago, someone randomly found my old Reddit post and sent me a DM on Reddit saying, "Yo, like, hey, I'm trying to start this thing. We're gonna have auditions, so it's gonna be like legit kind
Oh.
of thing.
Okay.
Um, and it's gonna be like a set schedule. It's gonna be this time on this day of the week. You know, this is where you're gonna do the stuff. Here's the Discord and all that." So I'm like, okay, it's someone who knows what the hell they're talking about. It sounds like.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, so what? Yeah, yes, or it was earlier this weekend sometime. I had like a tryout basically,
Uh-huh.
and it was really cool. The guy was super nice. He had like clips prepared, so he was like, "All right, this is gonna be the champ select clip. It's 7 minutes long. Just pretend you're doing a cast, and you're gonna just pretend to cast the champ select, where
Oh,
they
wow.
talk about the picks and the bans and the what you think the comps are gonna look like and do all that stuff." And it was solo, so like you had to try and fill the time by yourself.
Right.
So that was cool. So then I did that. Afterwards, there was like an early game, quote unquote, cast,
Yeah.
where it was just from 5 to 10 minutes, and there was like some laning and jungling happen, and then there was like a fight in the bot lane that you had to like kind of. It was like to practice your like. There's not really a whole lot going on,
Mhm.
and then transitioning into there's a fight happening, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then there was the last clip was a 1 minute like late game soul point team fight that you had to cast.
Oh. Okay.
So like it was cool. He was very organized and had like all this stuff that people were gonna do because like those were like realistic things you were gonna have to do is guess those types of moments. So.
Yeah. Yeah. That sounds really good, actually. Like, the fact that he actually had clips kind of like prepared for that kind of.
Yeah, which is just way more preparation than anyone that I'd interact with in this sector of the world. So it got me excited about it, knowing how like, and I talked to him a little bit afterwards about like the org and what all was happening and all that stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so I'm waiting to hear back. He said he had 4 people auditioning, and the games are on Wednesdays, and he had someone auditioning Tuesday evening. So I'm waiting to hear back, but yeah. So that's the story of I might start casting again, just because it was fun when I did it, but like it would have been way more enjoyable if it was organized a little better.
Right.
So
Yeah, no, that's not like you're, when you did cast those games, you were doing really well. So.
oh well, thanks. I tried to flex a little bit during the like the audition thing, tried to say as many ability names as possible, and he was like, "Hey, like you used them, and that's good." And I'm like, "All right, hell yeah!"
I got the. Wow.
I got the like I was talking to like our buddies in our Discord earlier, and I was like, "Yeah, dude, I did this audition, and I got to say light form disintegration ray during the audition. It was fucking sick."
That's funny, actually. Oh man. No, that's awesome.
So you might end up seeing, if you follow my Twitter, I'm gonna probably, if it's cool with those guys, put the link to where they do the streams if you wanted to watch me cast. So
yeah.
we'll see how that develops.
Well, you can always put it in our team's chat too.
Yeah,
we're always down to watch.
Come make fun of me a little bit.
I mean, you were outshining your co-casters.
During the audition, during the dragon fight clip, one of the teams had 2 pink wards in the pit, so I did they have 2 pink wards, so they can see 2 of the enemy wards. And then I had to laugh at my own joke, because then I realized, like, obviously no one else is there to laugh at. So yeah, I will hopefully try to be as dumb as possible while doing it, so it's enjoyable for everybody.
Hey man, you gotta have your own casting style, right? So if it's making dumb little jokes, I'm sure someone will get it. I mean,
we'll see if I get booed in the chat.
I feel like even professional casters get booed in the chat anyway.
I mean, that's fair.
So we were talking about high school earlier.
We were.
Something that I wanted to tell, because I remembered this stuff, was the funny stories, or some of the funny shit that happened in game design class. So back in high school, Ian and I took the same game design class. That was an experience. That was not a class. Would you say that was a class? I wouldn't say that was a class.
No, there was not a whole lot of teaching going on in that classroom.
Yeah.
It was more like the kids that were interested in that went to like teach themselves how to do it.
And most of them didn't even do it.
And most of them didn't do it. Yeah. It was the 2 people in that class were either people who were interested in it or people who wanted the A.
Yeah.
So
we did some dumb shit in that class, though.
We did some dumb shit in that class.
I got Ian to play horror games in the class.
I played so many like flash horror games during that class. Literally less than 5 feet from the teacher's desk. It was amazing.
There's some funny like projects that we worked on too, or like that I worked on that I remember.
Mm-hmm.
Was it God, because like there were some cool projects that we worked on in general just to like learn for tutorial.
Right. Yeah.
But that
I remember the one that I made that actually worked was a like wave defense like like scroller shooter kind of thing where like your character was on the right side and you had like a wall to defend and then like enemies would come at you from the left.
Yeah.
And I used like 8-bit StarCraft 2 sprites as like the
Yeah, I
enemies
do
and
remember
shit.
that. Yeah.
Well, that was cool because that was like it worked. So I was like,
Yeah.
oh shit, like I followed the tutorial correctly. Nice. It's
Yeah.
drawing the sprites. The two that I have. That's all I was looking for.
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool.
Yeah, that was actually really cool because like most of the other students were just kind of like doing what the tutorial said, but Ian was like, I want to do something different. I'm like, okay, like, sure.
I know one of our buddies just like did pixel art like a lot
Yeah.
of the time when he was in there, which is cool too. So.
Yeah. Yeah, because I was a part of that class twice. Because the first time was actually taking the class, and then the second time was when I had you in my class.
Oh yeah.
That was when I was essentially student teaching it.
You're like TAing.
Yeah, I was TAing it essentially, and like I was answering a bunch of the questions around too. But that was hilarious. I the first or the second project that we had was making a shoot 'em up, a scrolling shooter essentially, top down, kind of like shooter. If you remember
Okay,
like an airplane game.
I was gonna say yeah, like the airplane shooter game. Yeah. Okay.
And I remember when I initially got done with that, I then decided this isn't enough to just have like a basic functioning game. I want to like add power ups and shit to it.
That was cool.
And then I ended up adding power ups and stuff to it. My favorite thing that I did though was recreating Metroid.
That was sick.
That was really cool.
Yeah, that was sick.
Yeah, that I think that was like the coolest thing that I had done. Well, not the coolest thing, but that was like pretty cool. And then I made the zombie game too. You remember that?
Yep.
Yeah, the like 2D adventure zombie game. Yeah.
Yeah, because you like made a whole boss fight and stuff and that.
Yeah, I did make a whole boss. The funniest part was like testing the entire thing, because of how like things had to be programmed to like the AI had to be programmed to move in certain ways and stuff. Yeah, because even like I remember creating a tutorial level and just like I had to make sure that everything worked correctly even through the tutorial level. But that was fun. I also learned how to do pixel art because of that game. That's where I made it a pixel art M4 in AK, which was
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
My favorite game that Ian played right next to the teacher was SCP Containment Breach. That was the funniest thing ever. Oh my god. The entire facility goes dark, and Ian's walking around, and and then he turns the corner, the monster's right there, and he just hits escape, screams.
I hit escape. I have to like pause the game and keep myself from actually just like screaming in the middle of class. Like everyone's got their own earbuds in doing their own thing. It's like literally just like dead ass silent in the room, and you hear my ass like oh god, hit escape, get me out of here.
That was so funny.
It's so dumb, man. Like
the only reason why that ever happened was because we were starting to play like some of the other like RPG horror games, and you're like, hey, this was pretty good, like, do you have any more? And I went to go and get you more, and then you played them in class.
yeah, I think I'm gonna go home and play this shit. Because what I played like Crooked Man and Ip Man, or not Ip Man. Ib, yeah, Ib. Remember that shit?
That was a good game.
That was a good game, man.
Yeah, that was a good.
There's some other ones too.
Mad Father.
Oh, yo, that was my favorite one. I feel like. Damn, yeah, that was a good game. I'm just remembering all of these now. Crooked Man was really good though.
Yeah.
Damn.
That was a time. That was funny.
Yeah, we're playing SCP, and it's like I forget which one it is. It's like the sculpture, I think is what it's called. The
173.
Yeah, it's called the sculpture.
Yeah. I think it
173. Yeah, 173.
Yeah. I only know that because recently I watched a Minecraft video and it was I survive 100 days in an SCP filled Minecraft and 173 showed up and he was like looking at it and he was like, what is that? And then he looked away and it started moving like, no dude, you don't want to do that.
Yeah, don't look away.
Yeah.
It was actually, the game was actually fairly uniquely designed because the SCP game that I was playing, it had a blink timer on it, so like it's first person, so your character had to blink, so it would actually like the screen would like go black and come back like you were blinking in real life. And the power that the SCP had was whenever it was out of vision, it would teleport closer to you just like instantaneously.
Yeah.
So like when you saw it, the correct thing to do was to look at it and back away, but then the blink timer would click in, so then you would technically lose vision of it for a fraction of a second and it would teleport closer to you. And that was just like meant for some terrifying gameplay when you're trying not to make a peep inside a fucking high school classroom.
Oh, what a time.
Jesus, man.
Have I ever told you about like some weird game ideas I've had?
I mean, probably, but you probably censor the weirdest ones, right?
did I tell you about the time that I wanted to, or about the time that I wanted to make a DDR RPG, a Dance Dance Revolution like themed RPG?
Are there any rhythm game RPGs?
No.
That's an interesting mashup.
I wanted to make a DDR themed RPG where it was gonna be like a big meme too, where it was gonna be like your main character wanted to like go to the Konami Arcade Championships and win the entire thing, but then you had to like overcome the boss songs.
Yeah, okay. And your character stats could be like foot speed and shit.
Yeah,
like...
yeah. That was the idea.
Like, I gotta go grind this song to get my timing stat higher.
Yeah, and then like there were gonna be like face-offs against like prominent players in the community too.
That'd be kind of funny. That's basically just like if Guitar Hero was an RPG.
Yeah. Guitar Hero was good. Those boss battles were interesting.
Those boss battles are cool, yeah.
The
but yeah,
were really cool too.
the DDR RPG is an interesting
dude.
idea. That's funny shit, actually.
Yeah, that was like that was probably the meme funny idea that I had over the last couple years because we were playing so much DDR, and I threw that out to some of our other DDR friends, and they told me that I was stupid, and I was like, yeah,
well, I mean,
it's funny.
I mean, you are, yeah. But I mean, it's so funny. You know?
So,
yes,
we're gonna cap this question or this short little list of talking points thing with the big question that Ian asked before we started recording, because I thought this was really funny and I wanted to add this question in, is are we gonna play Final Fantasy 14?
Fucking I don't know, man.
Because last time you seemed pretty interested.
Yeah. I've commitment issues, but here I am playing RuneScape.
Fishing?
I'm fishing at the moment.
Yeah, no, I mean...
Yeah, like I said in the other episode, it's because there's like a free thing you can get into and dabble with, like I probably will.
Gotta
at least do that. Yeah, that's all I'm promising for now.
I will for sure be trying it out because I already have it installed.
We recently were playing some board games with a buddy, and he's big into it, and he's really excited about it. So
yep.
we at least know we'll have another person to play with. So
I think it's so funny too though, because like I see I see some of our like Destiny clan members that play it, and I also see, one of our other League team members plays it, and
Some
then
RuneScape people play it too,
yeah,
I
some
think.
of the RuneScape people play it. People in people in another server also play it, and I'm like, well, I actually have like a ton of people that I could contact and play the game with, but like, I think I've just been intimidated.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you?
It,
Oh, go ahead.
what's up?
Go ahead.
Well, yeah. Since you said like it's kind of intimidating, that's like kind of the feeling I get when you like want to jump into a game that's been around for 8, 10 years.
Yeah.
So there's like a lot to get into.
Yeah,
But,
now saying that kind of stuff, I've now been thinking about it, and I could honestly say the same thing about like RuneScape.
that's what I'm saying too. Yeah, from what I've seen, also the little bit of looking around that I've done, there's a lot of stuff that like helps people get into it.
Yeah.
And like guides, and apparently we were talking to our buddy, like the game like starts slow, but I feel like that's a good thing for an MMO. So like you get to learn all the stuff before you get tossed into the pool.
I think it
So.
was the way that the way that he put it too is that you can essentially like skip a bunch of side quests. You don't actually have to side quest.
Yeah, you could
anymore.
just do the main quest
Yeah,
and
to actually
get where you
level
need
up.
to be level wise.
Yeah, which is nice because like I feel like because obviously a lot of the early game, the side quests aren't going to be interesting. It's going to be like go here, kill that,
Yeah,
go here.
fetching.
Yeah, they're all fetch quests essentially for side quests. But like if I can if I can like reasonably skip a large majority of that, then like I probably will then, because I don't want to just sit and do fetch quests. One small favor. So
Yeah, I don't want to do that again.
so you gonna full out go on tanking duty, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's definitely going to be the role that I pick if I do play. What job though is going to think that I will wrestle with most likely.
Yeah, the what job question will be pretty difficult, huh?
Because they all sound cool. Probably, I would say like Dark Knight's probably the lowest on the list.
Uh-huh.
Just because like, whatever. I like I'm not the guy who goes for the edgy characters in all the games that I
Right.
play. But I like things about all the other ones, so that'll be narrowing that down will be the hard part.
I feel it.
But also like you can like do whatever in that kind of game. From what I've heard, you can switch around.
Yeah, you can switch around at any point,
So
which is cool.
that might be what I have to do is kind of dabble in all of them before I make a decision.
Well, I'm glad to hear that you're.
We'll give it I can't tell you when. I will be giving it a shot, but
yeah, I mean we're supposed to play Destiny next season, so
yeah. Fortunately.
It's okay.
Unfortunately. Yeah, I had to yawn. I'm sorry.
I think that's it.
Game looks cool.
Game does look cool.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see for sure. I think that's it. Unless you have anything else extra.
That was a good hour talking about random shit.
I think it worked. But I guess the small news section that I'll put is that we heard about new RuneScape news.
Yeah, some teaser, not even teaser, like actually some details for Raid 3 coming out early 2022,
Yeah,
which is exciting.
Medieval clicking simulator still getting
clicking simulator still getting content, and it's like it's good for the game because like early to mid game players, like all the content is new content because like I have never done Theater of Blood, so like even though that raid's 3 years old, it's new content for me. So I'm glad
Yeah.
that the max players who have 300 top KC are gonna get some new stuff to do. So it's good for everybody because then we'll get there eventually, and then it'll still be new for us. Like even if we don't do it for a year for any reason,
Yeah.
like it'll be new to us eventually. Then so.
True. Yeah. No.
But from what we've heard, it's going to be easier to like get into because they're going to make some like customizable difficulty stuff, which I think is like always good to have in games.
Yeah, I agree.
So,
Division had the same thing.
yeah, that's what we
Which
really
was
liked
really
about
cool.
Division is
Yeah.
that you could make it as easy or hard as you wanted, and you would get rewards tailored to the difficulty, which is the second half of that. Like
Yeah.
customizable difficulty is fun, but like if there's no reason to do the harder version, then it's like it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. There's no incentive to even try it
Mm-hmm.
and do it.
Yeah. So yeah, that's good news. Or like we said, we don't really know a whole lot about it yet. So
It's supposed to be like next year, so
yeah, early
we'll hear more
2022,
about
I think was what they said.
it. Yeah,
But some gaming news nonetheless.
some gaming news nonetheless. Anywho, I think that's it.
Sounds good to me.
Random facts. What's Cyrano's favorite number?
42.
9.
Damn it.
9 is the best number.
Why?
I think it has something to do with like how her name is pronounced or something like that.
Oh.
There's some reason behind that in like the actual fandom and lore of Toho. But Cyrano's the strongest because she says she's the strongest.
Do I have to think of a random fact now?
Only if you want.
If you kill Sir Alon in Dark Souls 2 without getting hit, there's a special death animation.
Oh yeah, there is.
Because he's the samurai boss.
Yep.
So if you kill him without getting hit once, he commits honorable seppuku because he's dishonored with himself because he didn't get to hit you once. And fun fact, it's actually faster in the speed run to get hit by him once because that special animation is longer than his normal death animation.
Than his normal death, yeah.
So there's a special attack, like one attack specifically that you want to get hit by because like it doesn't stagger you for as long.
Uh-huh.
And then you get the slower animation or the faster animation at the end. There, you get 2 fun facts from me.
Wow. 2 fun facts. Alright. Well, that's where we're going to end this podcast today. Again, thank you for listening to this episode of the Friendgame podcast. The incident that didn't exist has been completed and resolved. And, to the future me that is done, hopefully done unpacking, make sure that you get the sound set up so that we can actually record next week.
Then we can record at the new place. Yeah,
Yeah.
that'll be nice.
Anywho, thank you very much for watching or listening, and do the YouTube thing as now our motto to say. And we'll see you after we're done moving.
Later, bitches.
Peace.